Okay, so in the previous chapters, we saw the various avatars of the Lord. Now, and also what happened in Naimishi, Naimishi Yavanam, how the Lord did various leelas and so on. Now, finally, in world chapter number 4, Skanda 1, Vyasacharya, he has a sense of frustration. He's frustrated over few things. What is that? Now, Suta, Shaunaka, and lot of sages, they had assembled at a place, and wherein they were looking at the Itihasas, Puranas also. And that is when Shaunaka, he tells Suta that he please tell us the story of Parikshit and how Shukabrahmam, he recited to the entire story of Srimad Bhagavatam to Raja Parikshit. And what is the reason that Vedavyasa, he composed this Samhita? Samhita meaning this large text, you can say a large collection of verses, Srimad Bhagavatam. Now, what was the reason? Now, Vyasacharya's son, Shuka, he's a great yogi. We know about Shuka Brahman. He is the one who has realized everything. He knows the ultimate reality. Then, what is the reason for Vyasacharya to compose this great treatise, Srimad Bhagavatam? Now, Shuka also, he is always considered like a person, like a stupid person also, because he was the one who just move about here and there. So basically, they are not actually stupid. Yogis, sadhus also, they are not fools, but they have a very simple lifestyle and they have already realized the ultimate. So that's the reason for normal people like you and me, we feel that as if they are fools also. So it seems that once Vyasacharya, he was moving about. Now, Shuka, he was going to the forest. He was retiring to the forest and moving. That's when Vyasacharya actually followed Shuka, it seems. That is when Shuka, while they were moving about, there was a pond nearby wherein a few ladies were taking bath also. Now, Shuka was already moving about. He had bare minimum clothes on his body just to cover his few parts. Vyasacharya had all clothes on his body. Still, it seems that the ladies who were there, they tried to cover themselves with whatever clothes they had also. Vyasacharya was surprised. He thought to himself that my son Shukabrahmam, he has got the bare minimum clothes on his body. Still, the ladies did not react to that. I being a great sage, now of course, none of them, both of them, they did not even notice the ladies. They were just moving about the way. But just because the ladies they were taking a bath in the pond, you see some man also passing by, you generally cover yourself, right? So the ladies they did not react when Shukabrahmam came, but after some time when Vyasacharya comes along, immediately they reacted and they tried to cover themselves with clothes on. So this is when Vyasa he had a question in his mind, saying that why did the ladies behave this way? I was always I have worn all clothes on my body. I'm moving about properly. I did not even look at them. Then what happened? He goes and he addresses the ladies. And after they had come out also, Vyasacharya talks and says, why did you do this? That's when the ladies gave an answer saying that your son Shukabrahmam has realized the ultimate. For him, nothing matters now. There is no difference of sex at all. He is a female, he is a male. This is a world. Someone is taking bath. Nothing matters for him. Therefore, we also don't feel at all. Though he is walking about on this mortal earth, there is no difference for Shuka at all. He has realized the Brahman. Whereas for you, it has still not taken place, right? So therefore, we have to be a bit cautious when we saw you. Now, when all this was happening, Vyasacharya again gets a question in his mind that how did the people of Hastinapuri, how come they know about the nature of Shuka? Who went and told them? How did Parikshit come in contact with my son Shuka? And what did they talk about? And so on. Like this, it is said that all such questions come to the mind of Vyasa and all this leads to frustration. Now, in case of Shuka, there is an important thing that is said. In verse number 8, you get this reference Sago dohanamatram hi griheshu grihamedina. Shukabrahmam waits for a place only for how much time, if you see, that time which is used for milking a cow. So hardly say 15-20 minutes. More than that, he will not wait at the doorstep of anyone because attachment comes in. This was the principle of Shuka. So Parikshit was considered the blessed, you can say the most blessed devotees, because he got the Upadesha right from such a learned uh, soul. So all such things were coming in the minds of Vyasacharya, because he was someone who had already mastered all the Vedas. He was known for compiling the Vedas, Mahabharatam, this and that, so many other Puranas. But still, no peace of mind came in. His son was also moving about here and there. So all these questions started coming in the mind of Vyasa. That's when Suta, now this question was asked by Shaunaka, and Suta gives an answer to this, saying that in the Dwapara Yuga, this Vyasacharya who is there, he is actually a, you can say, an Amshavatar or Ardhavataram, part avatara, one part avatara of Lord Vishnu only. And he was born of Satyavati through Parashara. One day, what happened is, after taking a bath in the rivers of Saraswati Nadi, which was present then, he was just sitting at a lonely place, it seemed. It was just sunrise. Now, Vyasacharya, who was there, he could think about whatever happened in the past and so on. So he was just reflecting on various thoughts that came, and he was thinking about various sacrifices also, which are performed by the priests of the four Vedas. Rigveda, Hota, the name of the priest; Yajurveda, Advaryu; Samaveda, Udgata; Atharvaveda, Brahma. This is the name of the priest of each of the Vedas. And he was the one who had divided that one Veda into four parts for easy understanding also. The Rig Veda, Yajus, Sam, Atharva. Further, the Itihasas, Puranas, they are called the fifth Veda. Of this, various other sages who were there, they got the Upadesham. Like the Rig Veda was taught to, now Veda Vyasa Shishyas, names of Shishyas come here. Rig Veda was taught to a sage called Paila. Jaimini was the one who was taught the Sama Veda. Vaishampana was the one who mastered the Yajurveda. Sumantu was the one who mastered Atharva Veda, while Suta's father, Romaharshana, he gained mastery over the Itihasas and Puranas. That's the reason he used to give the Upadesham of the Puranas, Itihasas also to various sages. Further, Paila, Jaimini, Sumantu, Vaishampayana, who had mastered each of the Vedas, they further taught the Vedas to their disciples. This is how the Veda Parampara comes in, and that's how each one of them, they had their Shishyas, and so on. That's how the knowledge of the four Vedas, it spread. It was divided into various branches also. So why this was done is, so why did Vyasacharya do this? So that even the simplest of simple people would be able to master the Vedas. Now, a very simple example for this, we say this is Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam, 18,000 verses, divided into 12 skandhas. Each skandha has got a chapter. Despite having so much of division, still for people like us, we find it difficult, right? Further, that's the reason you see there is something called a few important shlokas that are told, or even from Narayanim also, 100 dashakams are there. From that, few dashakams are, you can say, they're important. Important in the sense they talk about various avatarams. Why such things are done is so that common people like us, it becomes easy for common people to understand. With the same purpose in mind, Vedavyasa also divided the Vedas into various parts. He taught it to a few Shishyas. Those Shishyas further passed it on to their Shishyas. Now, all this was being done, but further, what Vyasacharya saw was the women who were there, the other class of the society, the Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas to some extent, or some people. Now, not everything can be learned by everyone, right? Now, this, please note, this is not a discrimination. Now, even amongst the 50, 60 of us here, all of us, no doubt we are learning Srimad Bhagavatam. But how many of us, maybe a few of you are chanting very well, few of you are maybe still in the learning stage, or from my end also, if you see, there will be someone who has mastered the Srimad Bhagavatam very well. Maybe their explanations will be more good, or their way of teaching will be more good. In mine, there might be some flaws here and there. So, like this, if you see, we are all learning the same thing, but there is a difference from one person to another. Similarly, not everything will come for everyone. If that was the case, then everyone will be superior, right? We'll all be equal to gods. But it doesn't mean human beings, we are all unique. Therefore, if one thing is good in me, definitely something else will be good in someone else, right? So there is a difference that is there. So here Vyasacharya knew that now the Vedas also, it was not very much easy for everyone to learn. That's the reason he thought that no, I will compose an itihasam that is nothing but the Mahabharatam, so that even the womankind and all others who were there, they can also attain blessedness. Also, they'll also be blessed by listening to the mantras and so on. Now, even women also, they used to like, there are few restrictions also to learn the Vedas, this and that. Now, what were those restrictions? Especially, we had women in the Vedic times who were there who were learning the Vedas. But yes, there are certain restraints in the sense, for learning the Vedas, you must have the Yajnopavita Samskaram and the Trikara Sandhyavandanadi karmas which are to be done. This samskara is not there for women. That is the reason why these the Veda mantras also were not chanted by women. Right? So that's the reason, but that doesn't mean that there was no knowledge that is given to them. Vyasacharya equally composed a Mahabharatam so that it becomes easy for everyone to grasp that knowledge. Now, even after doing all this, still Vyasacharya was not satisfied. He was feeling uneasy. He knew everything, right? He was the one who had compiled the Vedas, he had the one who had compiled the Itihasas, Puranas, he had gained ultimate knowledge, this, that, everything. Still, he was not happy. That's when he sat on the banks of the river Saraswati and said that he prays and says to himself that I've done everything, I've served the elders, I've worshipped, I've done so many yagas, I've composed so many things. I've also revealed the purpose of the Vedas also through the Mahabharatam, so that people belonging to all classes of the society, irrespective of the knowledge that they have, they can study. Everything has been told. Still, then, what is the problem? I'm not attaining peace of mind. And is it because maybe have I done mistakes somewhere also? I don't know. So, thinking about all this, he was feeling that something is there which is missing. That's when sage Narada he comes to his ashrama, and immediately, just as Vedavyasa saw Narada, Vedavyasa gets up to worship him and duly starts offering worship also. He starts praying to Narada. And further, in chapter number 5, we see that Narada gives him a solution and Vedavyasa comes out of his sorrow. So, with this, chapter 4 comes to an